Imagine you had to build a car from scratch just in order to drive around. I don't know about you, but I'd be stuck walking. Thankfully, back in the 1800s, some genius created the internal combustion engine, and now it can simply be dropped into the car on the assembly line, and dummies like me can push a button and zip around all over the place. But that's real estate. It's the greatest business on earth. However, every realtor will discover eventually getting consistent clients is hard. And I mean really freaking hard. And the problem is every realtor is abandoned to build their own marketing engine from scratch. So you're listening to your broker, door knocking, cold calling, postcards, but you're also following the online guru. So Facebook ads, YouTube, TikTok, etc. Sadly, nothing is producing consistent results if it's producing any results at all. And that's where this video comes in. I'm Chris Jones, founder and CEO of Guerilla Realty. And in this video, I'm going to show you a duplicatable marketing engine that any agent in any market with any level of experience can simply drop into their business, turn the key, and begin getting consistent clients. By the way, I do a full 1-hour training on how I built my marketing engine, and it comes with lifetime access to my company's 11 apps and a full download of 3 different playbooks that I mentioned in this video. You can get the training for free. All you have to do is like this video, share it with a friend, and then comment shared below, and I'll send you a private link directly to the training. Now, here's what I'll cover in this video. Lesson number 1, the 3 types of marketing. All marketing anywhere can be boiled down into 3 different types, and you need all 3 to build a sustainable real estate business. The problem is most agents only do 1 or 2 types, and they unknowingly ruin their business by ignoring the 3rd. Lesson number 2, putting the pieces together. In this lesson, I'll show you the marketing and software pieces you need to build a marketing engine. I'll give you specific examples of each of the 3 types of marketing, and you can do each of them by the end of the day. And then I'll give you several of the apps I use to execute, all for free. And finally, lesson number 3, once you have your marketing engine and drop it into place, I'll show you how to simply turn the key and start getting consistent clients. Ready? Let's go. All right, let's dive into lesson number 1, the 3 types of marketing. Remember, all of marketing anywhere can be boiled down into 3 basic types. And you need all 3 in order to grow a sustainable, thriving real estate business. The problem is most realtors are only doing either 1 or 2, but they're completely ignoring number 3 to their own peril, and it's ruining their real estate business. So let me show you a quick illustration to walk you through the 3 basic types of marketing. So marketing types. The first one, and I've done a really crude illustration. It's going to look basically like a pyramid. But the first one is direct response, right? And to give you a couple of examples of direct response, but direct response marketing is where you do an activity and you reach out to someone and then you get them to respond. And that's it, right? So some examples would be ads. So maybe you're going to run Google ads or Facebook ads. Or maybe you're running an ad in the newspaper. I don't know. Okay. But ads of all types. Then you've got social media where you put something out and you have some kind of call to action. So you want them to do something or to go to your landing page or to result in a lead. All right. So social media. Then you got cold calling. So you're literally just calling people on the phone and you're hoping that they'll pick up, and then you offer them something and then they respond to that offer. These are all direct response. Okay. Then there's direct mail. You send out a postcard. Maybe it's got a QR code on it or something like that, and you want a response. So it's when you do some kind of activity, you send some kind of something out into the universe, and then you want leads to respond to you. That is direct response, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. This should be the foundation of not only every real estate business, it should be the foundation of every business everywhere. And really good direct response marketing is always free. And I don't mean that it's always organic, meaning it doesn't cost you any money, but it's free in the sense that it's always going to make you more back in terms of revenue or commissions or whatever than what you spent on it. Okay. And so when you find good direct response marketing, you can just do more and more and more and more of it because it always makes more money than it costs, right? So you're spending $1 and you're making $10. And so essentially, that marketing is free. So that's direct response, and it should be the foundation of every business, but especially real estate businesses. And in the next lesson, I'll show you which of each type of marketing you should be doing. And I'll give you specific examples of how I do that in my business. All right, so that's direct response. Now, the second level is what I call infrastructure. And this is just my terminology. Other people might call it something different, but infrastructure is stuff that exists out in the universe that directs people back to you, right? So it would be like a street sign or a yard sign. Let me give you some examples. It would also be a park bench, right? So I don't know if any of you guys, please, somebody, if anybody watching this video has ever done the park bench thing, comment below. I'd love to know. I've never actually met a realtor who paid for the park bench advertising, but I'm curious how it worked out for you, right? So park bench would be infrastructure. It's something that exists. It's solid. It's permanent. It's a fixture, and it just points people back to you so that you can get business. Then there's yard signs. Then there's business cards, and business cards are kind of like in a gray area somewhere between infrastructure and direct response, because you typically are passing them out. You're sending something out, and then you're asking for some kind of response. But I consider them business cards because they're really, really low energy in terms of the activity that you're putting into it. And so business cards are kind of like, hey, you can leave them somewhere, you can hand them to somebody, but really it's just a fixture, a permanent fixture that just exists out there in the universe that points back to you. All right. So business cards is an example. And then my favorite example, right? Not to give away or spoil the next lesson, but Google, Bing, Yahoo, right? That is a great example of infrastructure. It's just digital infrastructure, right? So these are profiles, right? If you're smart, you've got a Google profile, a Bing and a Yahoo profile through Yelp. And you've got this profile set up. Hopefully it's got loads of great reviews. If not, we have a video to help you with that. Hopefully it's got loads of great reviews and it points people back to you. So it's just a permanent fixture out there in the universe that points prospects, leads, clients back to you, right? So that's infrastructure. And then the third and final layer of our pyramid here, the third and final type of marketing would be sphere of influence. All right. And so sphere of influence, of course, is friends, when friends do business with you, when family does business with you, or when friends and family refer people to you. So friends, family, referrals, this is all sphere of influence marketing. All right. And again, in a later lesson, I'm going to give you specific examples of how I do each of these. But these are the three types of marketing, right? Direct response, infrastructure, and sphere of influence. Now, can you guess which are the two types that realtors do all the time and which is the one that they ignore, right? So most realtors start with sphere of influence. It's because it's what their broker tells them to do, right? You're supposed to work your natural market, right? So that's your sphere of influence. The problem is that you're always going to plateau with your sphere of influence marketing, no matter how good you are at it, because at some point you're going to get to a limit where you can no longer manufacture new friends and family. And so you're just going to be stuck with whatever deals come your way. And for people that are hugely relational, have a large network, and they're like the life of the party types, those people are going to do a lot of deals in their sphere of influence. And then for tired old grumpuses like me, who don't have a lot of friends and don't have a large network, you're going to tap out pretty quickly. So you're going to get a small amount of deals from your sphere of influence, right? And so everyone's going to have a different size natural market, but everybody is always going to hit a plateau no matter how good you are at the sphere of influence. And that's why it goes on the top of the pyramid, which again, we'll cover that in a later lesson. So most realtors do sphere of influence, what their broker tells them to do when they, you first join the company, you're brand new at Caldwell, you're brand new at Keller Williams, and your broker's going to tell you, okay, what we want to do is we want to access your natural market. And so get out there, hit the phones, get in touch with your friends and family, let them know that you just got your real estate license and that you're ready to go to work for them. And so you go and do that. So most realtors do this. They do not ignore the sphere of influence. Okay. The problem is, of course, that you're going to hit a plateau. So the second type that realtors do is they do infrastructure. Now, I would say that realtors don't do a great job at their infrastructure. They don't maximize or optimize their infrastructure. So there's a lot of infrastructure available to you out there. And I'll cover this in the next lesson. There's infrastructure available to you that you're not set up on. So maybe you don't have a Yelp profile. Huge mistake, right? Maybe you don't even have a Google My Business profile, although I think at this point, most of you guys do, right? But those are examples of infrastructure that maybe you're not utilizing. So, you're not maximizing, but you're also not optimizing it. So people might have a Google My Business profile or a Yelp profile, but they have a terrible call to action and they have a terrible landing page that never captures leads, right? And so if it's not being maximized and optimized, then you're really just not doing infrastructure marketing at all. Okay. And then the third and final, right, which should be the very foundation of your business, is direct response. And most realtors do zero direct response marketing at all. They think that if they just put out enough infrastructure and they have enough friends and family, that it really ought to help them grow a thriving real estate business. And it's just never going to happen, right? And so you've gotten it out of order. Realtors everywhere have always gotten it out of order. And so this is what your pyramid should look like. It should look like direct response on the bottom, then infrastructure, and then sphere of influence. All right, now that you have the basic shape of what your marketing engine look like, direct response, then infrastructure, and then sphere of influence should be the cherry on top. Now I'm going to break down some real numbers for you in the next slide. And so let me switch my screen view, and then we're going to show you some basic numbers. So the assumption is if you're a typical agent somewhere in North America wanting to earn about $250K in annual net income, that's going to take about 25 closings or 25 deals. And so here would be the breakdown. Okay. 70% of your business should come from direct response marketing, which is 18 of the deals roughly, right? Then 18% should come from your infrastructure marketing, right? And then, and only then, should 12% of your deals come from sphere of influence, which is about 3 deals. Okay. So think about this, because most realtors, in fact, probably the realtors watching this video right now, I'm talking to you, have it completely upside down. They spend all of their energy and all of their activity doing sphere of influence stuff. Okay. And it's only ever going to represent about 12% of this goal, right? That's kind of, if you're maxing out your sphere of influence and you're doing everything just right in today's, economy, in today's real estate market, about 12% of those 25 deals or 3 deals are going to come from your sphere of influence. Okay. But this is where everybody spends all their time on. Okay. And it should be exactly the opposite. You should spend most of your time and energy on great organic direct response marketing. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of that in the next lesson. Then you should be spending the next amount of energy on infrastructure. The good news about infrastructure is that it's a one-time setup, and then you just set it and forget it, and it's going to continue to reap deals, and it's going to result in about 4 deals. And then your sphere of influence, again, you should do it. In fact, I'm about to publish a crazy video on YouTube breaking down exactly how we do sphere of influence marketing, but it should only represent about 12% of your business. And so it should only be about 12% of the energy that you put into marketing. All right, lesson number 2 is putting the pieces together. So I'm going to show you the marketing playbooks that I use, or the specific marketing activities that I do in each of the 3 categories. And then I'm also going to show you some of the software that I use. So let's just walk through it step by step. So to do that, I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this marketing pyramid, or this marketing engine illustration, and we're going to start with direct response. So when it comes to direct response, this is really our bread and butter at Guerilla Realty. We're really good at it. We have 31 playbooks. I would say that over 20 of them are direct response, and that's how it should be. Remember, it's 70% of your GCI is going to be coming from direct response, and so it should be at minimum 70% of your energy and your activity, right? So I always choose Facebook Marketplace. So this is one of those things, although it's not necessarily my number 1 playbook or it's my favorite playbook, it is the one playbook that I'm always running all the time. And I would recommend that every agent in every market, no matter what else you're doing, you should be running Facebook Marketplace, our Facebook Marketplace playbook, or free Facebook Marketplace ads, because when done right, it is the lowest hanging fruit out there. And it is the simplest, cheapest, and most efficient form of direct response marketing that you can do. And I'll just walk you through the high points. Remember, we've already done a deep dive video multiple times on YouTube. And so you can search that on our channel, Facebook Marketplace, and we'll walk you through all the ins and outs of exactly how to do it. But it's pretty simple. When we're posting on Facebook Marketplace, we start with a borrowed listing. So we have another video on how to borrow listings, but we start with a borrowed listing, and then we start with a click-worthy photo, right? So in that deep dive video, we'll show you exactly how to select the perfect photo that actually gets people to click through. And by the way, this is why you're not getting any leads off of your marketplace ads, because you're not actually getting click-throughs. So once you're getting click-throughs, then we are just going to copy and paste the first 200 words of the MLS remarks. Of course, if you have Pro Tools, my company's flagship product, you have an AI ad writer tool that'll write an even better ad for you in about 3 seconds. But if you're doing this on your own, I would recommend just copy and paste the MLS remarks to get started. And then you're going to have a clear call to action to get more details, current pricing, and photos about this property, and to search all properties in the area for free. Go to my website, and then a direct link to a single property webpage that is armed with lead capture. And when done right, when you post an ad like what I'm posting, you are going to capture a high volume of leads, and you're also going to get a high volume of Facebook Messenger messages. And we have another, I'm not going to get into it right now, but there's a specific copy and paste response that you should be sending to all of those as a reply to those Facebook messages. And that is going to literally triple the number of leads that you can generate from this one ad. So again, I'm not going to get into the weeds because we do a whole video on exactly this, and I don't want to waste a lot of time here. Go ahead and look it up. But when done right, this is absolutely the #1 form of direct response marketing that everybody should be doing all the time, just because of how cost effective it is and how efficient and easy it is to do. So you should always be doing this in the background of your business, no matter what else you're doing on top of it. All right. So that's direct response, and that's my pick for direct response marketing. Then there's infrastructure marketing. And my pick, if I was only going to do one infrastructure marketing, of course, we recommend that you maximize and optimize all of them. But if you're only going to do one, obviously my recommendation would be Google My Business. And we actually built a really cool app called TrustBuff that allows you to optimize your Google My Business profile and get a bunch of 5-star reviews, which obviously helps your rankings and increases your ability to run local service ads, etc. So I'm going to show you a screen grab of that, but this is TrustBuff, and we did a whole deep dive video on our YouTube channel on TrustBuff. So I recommend that you go check that out. All right, we'll try to put it in the video description, but check out our video on TrustBuff. But TrustBuff is a really simple app that builds a TrustBuff link that you can send out to your friends, your family, your past clients, etc. That will automatically, when they go to the link, what am I trying to say? When they go to the link, it'll automatically ask them if they, rate your service 1 through 5 stars, and anything less than 5 stars, it automatically records their response internally, right? So it just hides it, and it filters so that only 5-star reviews actually go to, only 5-star reviews actually go on to the review site itself. So Google My Business, Yelp, Zillow, etc. And it works like round robin. So TrustBuff is really smart, and it knows where you need reviews the most, and so it'll automatically send people to those services. So if you need more Yelp, like Trina, you need more Yelp reviews, if they're lagging behind your other sites, you could send more reviews to Yelp until it's caught up with the others. But it'll work like a round robin. Okay. So TrustBuff, absolutely incredible app. If you're not using it, you got to go check out the YouTube video, and then you got to start using the app. But once you're using this and you're getting, enough 5-star reviews that you don't mind sending people to your profile, then people are going to find you, right? You're going to start ranking higher. People are going to find you. I don't know, a dozen people a month or so are going to click on your Google profile, your realtor profile on Google. The problem is most realtors haven't optimized their Google profile. So we have a Google My Business playbook to teach you to optimize that profile so that when somebody lands there, they actually result in a lead. And so we have a seamless Google My Business landing page that takes them to where we offer certain bribes where they'll give up their name, phone number, email address in order to get those bribes. And I highly recommend that you check out that playbook and check out the TrustBuff video. But that's what I do for Google My Business. So now we've covered direct response and infrastructure. Obviously, we're going to be running the marketplace playbook and the Google My Business playbook. And that brings us to the third and final sphere of influence marketing. And this is going to throw you for a loop. This is not what you're going to expect, but the best form of sphere of influence marketing, hands down, is the just listed post on Facebook, which for most people, your just listed posts, if you're doing them at all, they're really sad. 0 likes, 0 comments, no shares. Maybe your mom's liking it. Okay. But 0 leads. But if you're using our up circulating playbook, and we do a whole deep dive video, what don't we do a deep dive video on YouTube but we do the up circulating. We've done this a couple of times on YouTube already. So you run a just listed post. Okay. But instead of being the old boring listing, just listed post, we do it a little different. Helps stop the scroll, and we give you the copy and paste template for running something just like this. Okay. And we show you how to write like the perfect description, how to select the exact right photos, only 3 photos. And then the result is absolutely phenomenal once you start up circulating it. So we teach you exactly how to get your friends and family lists to push that out on Facebook and just force it to go viral. And so the result, this is just, one just listed post that we ran the up circulating playbook on, ended up 28 likes, 25 comments, and 25 shares. And I don't have the screenshot of it right now, but this particular post ended up over 30 days generating 99 leads. And I actually have screenshots in the up circulating video that we did on YouTube. If you guys want to check that out, to prove that we actually generated 99 legit qualified sales leads from this one single post. I did it using my sphere of influence. And the cool thing is that it wasn't a lot of friends and family who ended up being leads. It was their friends and their family who ended up being leads. And so they knew who I was. There was already, some innate trust there. But we ended up doing a lot of business from this one single post. And I'll show you how to do it as well. And so yeah, that's it. Right. So direct response, Facebook Marketplace, infrastructure, Google My Business, and then just our sphere of influence would be a just listed post where you run my up circulating playbook to make it go viral. That is putting all the pieces together. All right, lesson number 3 is the easiest and it's the funnest. It's just turning the key and getting consistent clients. And in order to demonstrate this point, I am going to reference yet another YouTube video that we've done called reverse engineering your business, right? So we do a planning video on how to reverse engineer your business. And when you reverse engineer your business, you're going to take your income goal and you're going to break it down, reverse engineer it, work backwards to figure out how many qualified sales leads you need to bring into your business every single month in order to produce that kind of income. And so once you know what your lead number is, then you can build a marketing engine in order to hit that lead number. Okay, let's find our lead number together, and then we can design your marketing engine to hit that lead number. Let me show you what I mean. So share my screen. This is our reverse engineer calculator. You can find this at Nerd Sheets. There'll be a link in the description. And what this is a calculator where we're going to input your target monthly income, meaning how much money you want to make every month from your real estate sales business on average. And then we're going to put in some of your market stats, and then some details about you and what you want your business to look like. And then we'll go from there. All right. So let's say that you wanted to earn, this is something I've done a lot lately. You wanted to earn roughly $250K in annual net income. That would be a target monthly income of about $20,833. And let's say that you had a typical median sale price. So I think Q1 of 2025, the numbers are in, and is $411,900. Okay. And the typical commission across the country is about 2.75%. Yours may be a little lower, maybe a little higher, depending on where you are. And then I recommend that you calculate your effective split, your effective company split. But we're just going to assume that you're with a decent company and you're making 85%. If you're not making at least 80, let me just always recommend that you go find another company. Okay. Then rate your phone skills. And I'm talking about effective company split, not your starting split. It's okay if your starting split's below that. But anyway, next, you're going to rate your phone skills on a scale of 1 to 10. And this is really easy. 1 is the worst, 10 is the best. 1 is you get scared and your palms start sweating if you even think about calling a lead. And 10 is you could host a masterclass on converting deals over the phone. You're that good. So we're just going to assume average phone skills, and then we're going to custom design what percentage of our business we want to come from sellers versus buyers. Now, I normally recommend that you have at least some seller business. Even if you love working with buyers like I do, you got to have some seller business. I find that the ideal mix is either 60-40 or 70-30, somewhere in that range. But I highly recommend that you have sellers in the mix because sellers are more scalable. You got 10 active listings. You can get them all showed this weekend. You got 10 active buyers. You're no chance you're going to do showings with them all this weekend. That would be absolutely miserable. Actually, it'd be impossible. So anyway, what we've done is we've taken this goal, okay, target monthly income, and we've broken it down. We've worked backwards using advanced statistical modeling, and we figured out what is the ideal number of leads that you need to bring in on a monthly basis in order to hit this income goal. And here's what's cool. All right. The number is 89. You guys can already see the answer there. Okay. The number is 89 qualified sales leads coming into your business on a monthly basis. Obviously, that's going to result in 26 closings, probably going to result in a few more. We have some buffer built in. Okay. 16 listings, 10 buyer closings. Okay. 89 qualified sales leads. Now, some of you guys might be freaked out when you see that number, but here's the cool thing. Okay. First of all, it is doable as long as you have a marketing engine. I'm gonna get back to the marketing in just a minute. Okay. But it is doable. Anyone can go generate 80. I mean, you could just go do Facebook Marketplace only and generate 89 leads. I've seen people do it. I saw somebody do it last month. Okay. So it is doable. Okay. But here's the cool part. If you hit this number will take care of itself. If you bring in 89 qualified sales leads into your real estate business every single month, month in and month out, this goal will take care of itself. So I recommend you go through the reverse engineer calculator, put in your goal, figure out your lead number, and then go hit it. And here's the other thing, okay? It works backwards too. So if you're not hitting this number, right? If you're not hitting your target monthly income, it's because you're not hitting your lead number either, okay? Because your lead number is always controlling your business, regardless of whether you've even done the math and whether you know what your lead number is or not, right? All right, so we just made up those numbers, but it's a great illustration of what it would take in a typical North American market to hit 250K in annual net income. And according to the numbers, according to the stats, it's 89 qualified leads coming to your business every single month. And so now let me show you how to do a marketing engine, how to turn the key and start getting those leads and getting those clients consistently. And so let's share the screen. All right, so back to our primitive, crude pyramid illustration. We've got the direct response where I chose Facebook Marketplace. We've got the infrastructure where I chose Google My Business, and then the sphere of influence where I chose the just listed posts where we run the upcirculating playbook. All right, so here's what you can count on from each of these playbooks, or here's what, according to the numbers that I showed you before, 70% of your business coming from direct response. Here's what you need in terms of leads from each of these playbooks or each of these categories of marketing types. All right. So for direct response, you're going to need 62 leads a month from Facebook Marketplace. You can probably do that with just 5 or 6 borrowed listings, 5 or 6 listings on Marketplace. If you were to amp this up and also run our Craigslist playbook, also run our Zillow Hack playbook, which are great direct response marketing playbooks, then you're going to end up with a lot more than 62 leads. But if you can just hit this number, then you should be good to go, because remember, 70% of your business is going to end up coming from direct response. And so this is an actual specific example of direct response marketing that anyone can do. Okay. Even if you have no experience, anyone can do this. And if you have Pro Tools, it's really, really easy. Okay. Now let's look at infrastructure marketing. So we chose Google My Business. Okay. We need to be getting 16 leads per month. And that's just assuming that 18% of our business, like the illustration I showed you earlier in this video, 18% of the business is going to come from infrastructure marketing. So we need 16 leads per month. Okay. Problem is, unless you're running and paying for local service ads and doing it well, you're probably not going to end up with 16 leads per month from Google My Business. We've been doing it a long time. We've gotten fantastic results from Google My Business, but you're not going to be getting 16 leads per month. So there's a couple of other things that you can do. You can either make up for this shortfall by doing more direct response, and that's perfectly acceptable answer, or you can add more infrastructure playbook. So you could do Yelp optimization. You could do like business cards, like we talked about. You could do yard signs. We do a deep dive video on yard signs that's gone absolutely bonkers. People are going wild over it. You can check it out on our on our YouTube channel. But that's yard signs. So if you're taking listings, you do yard signs, you absolutely could get 16 leads per month from yard signs. So you just have to kind of pick and choose and make sure that whatever playbook that you chose to go with for infrastructure, that it's going to help you hit your lead number. Okay. And then finally, sphere of influence, you need just 11 leads. And this actually works out perfectly. So the typical results from an upcirculating just listed post is about 30 leads every single time you post it. Of course, you can't actually post it every single month because there's a whole upcirculating process where you're relying on your friends and family. And we just recommend that you do it 4 times a year. So 30 leads 4 times a year is 120 total leads. And, divide by 12, that's 10. It's pretty doggone close. So if even one of those does better than 30 leads, then you're in the black. You're doing good, right? So there you go. We just found our lead number. How many leads do we need in order to make our desired net income for the year? And then how many leads monthly do we need? 89. And then how do we find that? By doing different direct response infrastructure and sphere of influence. And I'll tell you, if you've got one playbook from each one of these types of marketing going for your business, you are going to have an absolute rock solid, bulletproof marketing engine that almost just runs itself. Okay. And you're going to be hitting 89 at least every single month. So there you go. There you have it. A plug and play marketing engine. Just drop it into your business, turn the key, and boom, consistent clients month after month. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you want to dive deeper on how I built my marketing engine, meaning the exact tools and playbooks that I use, I do an awesome 1-hour training that I'll give you free. All you have to do is like this video, share it with a friend, and then comment shared below, and I'll send you a private link to the training. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe to our channel because that's the only way you'll get our new marketing playbooks when they drop. Look, we've doubled our real estate business 3 times since 2019. If you want the full breakdown, exact scripts, step-by-step processes, and our brand new tool, drop a comment below.
No gimmicks, no paywalls. We're sending it completely free because we know it works.
Just type send it in the comments and we'll get it to you ASAP.
And if this was helpful, stick with us. We're dropping more strategies twice a week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next.